Hey y'all, it's Zach, the legal tech advisor here at Lawyerist. Today I'd like to talk to you about accepting credit cards and other e-payment methods in your law firm. Specifically, I'd like to talk to you about LawPay and how you can use their card vault system to store client information securely. Recently, I sat down with Rachel from LawPay and she walked me through this system and showed me how it works. Have a look and see what you think.
Hi, my name's Rachel. I'm the customer success manager here at LawPay.
Rachel, thanks for joining us today. And I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your day to do a deep dive into some of the LawPay features. What are we going to be looking at today?
Mhm. Today, we're going to be going over our card vault feature.
Okay, fantastic.
Okay, just going to go ahead and get logged into LawPay here. Okay, our card vault feature is a feature that allows a firm to securely and safely store payment information for one of their clients.
Okay, that makes sense. So they take it, store it, keep it inside of LawPay, and specifically not on the lawyer's website, so they don't have to worry about their own PCI compliance, and it's stored with you guys, so they can use it later. They can use it in a second transaction or something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So
Okay.
it's super beneficial for firms who see clients over a certain period of time or maybe on a recurring basis.
Mm-hmm.
Some specific instances of where it might be super beneficial are immigration law, elder law, anything where the attorney is going to see that client again. And
Mm-hmm.
then even something like a tax lawyer, even if they might only be seeing them once a year, you can vault
Right.
their card and then use it next year.
Okay. That makes sense. And I know a lot of attorneys that send consecutive invoices, at the very least. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. So it can be used as frequently or infrequently, even if it's on the once per year basis. It's
Mm-hmm.
vaulted, it's secure, ready for them to charge that card.
Okay. Well, yeah. Do you mind walking us through it and kind of giving us a look under the hood here?
Yeah, definitely.
Fantastic.
So there's two ways to vault a card. Request card is going to be the one that is going to save the attorney and their staff the most time. The reason
Mm-hmm.
is this request card information form will send an email to the client, so their client is inputting all of their card information. So that way the attorney and the staff, they never have to see the full card or billing information for that client. It's
Mm-hmm.
it's in a secure manner so that they're only presented with the last four digits and the expiration date on the card.
Okay. And so this sends an email to the client. The client then is taken to a secure portal. They're
Yes,
not asked, hey, please send me an email back that gives me your card information. It sends them to a secure portal, and the attorney or their staff doesn't have to actually enter the information in.
exactly. So
Okay.
that's really where the time saving approach comes in, because you
Mm-hmm.
can send the email and then the client looks at their card, gets on their phone or their device, fills in all of their card information and sends it back through the vault back to the attorney. So I can show you kind of what that workflow looks like.
Yeah, that'd be great. And so this is from the attorney's perspective of you're sending it to that client email, and this is what they see. Okay.
Yes, exactly. And both of these fields with the subject email and the body of text can both be edited. This is just some language we've presented, but if the firm wants to change this to what they see fit, that is totally possible.
Okay.
So after they have the client's information filled in here, Rachel is our client in this example, we're going to go ahead and press send. And what's great is you can automatically see that it's created a new line item in the vault. And we
Mm-hmm.
can see that it under the payment method section, it's been requested today. As soon as the client enters their information and it's vaulted, that will then change to either multiple cards on file if they do have multiple cards on file,
Mm-hmm.
or show the attorney or their staff the last four digits of the card.
Okay. And this scenario that you've just gone through right here, we're just requesting their card. We haven't sent them an invoice or anything like that. This is kind of a pre-preparatory sort of step, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So at this point, this is not a bill. This is not an invoice. It's just something that says, hey, we have the opportunity to keep your card on file to make it easy for you to pay,
Mm-hmm.
when it is time.
Mm-hmm.
So at this time, no payment has taken place.
Okay.
So here is the example of what the client receives in their email.
Mm-hmm.
So I can see it's from Lawyerist Law Firm and with an option to enter my payment information. From there, the client will go ahead and click on this button. Where they will be taken to the secure form to fill out to vault their card.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And it looks like they can pay with a card, or they can store their ACH information in there as well.
Yes.
Okay.
So eCheck is a feature that's available for our LawPay accounts. If a firm currently has LawPay and they don't have eCheck, but they are interested, just have them, they can reach out to our support team and we can walk them through how to get eCheck added if they want that. But
Okay.
yes, they can either vault a card like Visa, MasterCard, etc., or pay with an eCheck by entering their account and routing number for either their checking or savings account.
Okay.
So today I am going to vault a card.
It looks like a very real card number.
Yes, I don't think you'll be able to go far with this information. At the bottom of the form, you will see some additional text that the client is agreeing to,
Mm-hmm.
basically to have their information vaulted and saved on file.
Mm-hmm.
This is not necessarily a authorization for payment, but we'll talk a little more about the difference there and an authorization form for payment a little bit later.
Okay, great. Because I think that's always one of the questions that we have as attorneys is, making sure that we're being ethical about charging people and giving them notice and all that.
Yeah, definitely. And in our support center, we've got some like really great templates.
Mm-hmm.
We have firms all the time who just go to the support center, download that, their client fills in the authorization form, or if it's a family member, a friend paying for the client services, there's
Mm-hmm.
also a third party form. So we've got some really great resources that the firm can utilize.
Okay. And that's just in the kind of like help desk area of lawpay.com.
Yes, it'll be through our support center. When
Okay.
a firm is actually logged into their LawPay account, if
Okay.
they click their name in the upper right corner and then go to support center, it'll go directly to our support center, but I'll be sure to show you how to get there also.
Yeah, that'd be great. That'd be great.
Yeah. So after I've read through these terms and I agree to it, I'll check that box. You'll notice that it actually will not let me continue unless I check the box.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm checking that. And I'll click Save My Payment Information. As soon as I do that, I get a thank you page.
Mm-hmm.
And if the client ever needs a copy of this, or the firm wants to go see the actual electronic authorization, in the card vault, you are able to view the authorization. So I can show you what that looks like too.
Okay. Yes, that'd be great. Because this is from the perspective of the client who has just put their information into the system.
Yes. So now I'm the client. I've saved my card information. I can let my attorney know, great,
Mm-hmm.
my card is now on file with your office. So it can be used. So here on this screen, we are back where at this point, we have not refreshed. So it still says requested on today. As soon as I refresh, you'll see under the payment method that the text will change.
Yep, there it is.
And you can see that my client Rachel has now vaulted their card. I can see the last 4 digits of the card. And let me go ahead and show you where you can see that electronic authorization if it were needed. If you go to the right-hand side and click the 3 dots and click on View Card Authorizations, you can see that this card ending in 4242 was vaulted today with a link to view the authorization.
Okay. And there's the same thing that the client saw earlier. Okay.
Yes.
And
So
it
that
looks
will,
like if they have multiple cards on file, they'll have individual authorizations.
yes, let me show you what that looks like. So our client Dustin Hare, he has multiple cards on file. So same thing, click the 3 dots on the far right-hand side, view card authorizations. Both happen to be vaulted on 10/8, but you do have an individual link for the authorization.
Okay.
So the other way that a firm can get a card into the vault is through this add new card function. So this feature would be used if, let's say, the client is in person or the client just calls and says, hey, I have my card information. Can I just give it to you over the phone? Or again, if they're in person and have the physical card, the firm will be prompted for their email. And then these 2 fields are optional, but we would encourage you to use it so you can keep records of who that card is associated to.
Right.
And then here you've got the option to input card information, or if it's going to be an e-check with account and routing number, you've got that function as well.
Okay.
And you'll notice this little icon that says, please make sure you have proper authorization from the cardholder to store this card. But this also brings up those payment authorization forms that we were discussing earlier. I'm going to pause here and move to our support center so I can show you where those are.
Okay.
So when a firm is logged in, they can easily get to our support center by going to their name in the upper right corner and clicking on support center. So once they click support, we have some different recommended articles down here, but I really love this search function because you can get to exactly what you're looking for. So here I'll just type in the word authorization. And we have how to add credit card language to your attorney fee agreements. I'll go ahead and open this article. Now, at the beginning of this article, there is some kind of canned language that the firm can definitely incorporate into their retainer agreements or like onboarding paperwork. But if you scroll to the very bottom of the article,
they can actually download. Okay.
And there's actually 2 types of authorization forms here. So one is if it's the client paying for their own services, if the client is the cardholder. And then another one for if it's a third party. So again, if a family member, friend, parent is paying for the client services, we have a third party authorization form that they can sign saying, yes, I agree to pay for these services, even though I might not necessarily be the client.
Okay.
Here is the example of the client payment authorization form. And depending on what the scenario is, the firm would just fill in different things. And then, of course, have the client initial and then fill in their information down here. One thing I do want to point out on this form is that the cardholder will not write the full card number on this form and then send it back via email. definitely don't want that. They can just put the last 4 digits. So if my card was in the vault, I would just say 4242, last 4 digits only. Don't want those full card numbers in an email.
Now, I will say a client will do that. They're not supposed to.
Yes.
but
Yes.
some of the ones that I've had will do that. So yeah, you may want to kind of point that out. Obviously, LawPay has made it to where it's pretty blatant that you're only supposed to do the last 4 digits on the card, but it may be something they want to point out also.
Yeah, definitely. And then down here, you'll have a place for signature. These forms are not required, but we would encourage the firm to utilize them.
Mm-hmm.
The reason being is if a chargeback were to occur, which is a dispute on the card, this can help in the event of a chargeback. We do have an internal risk team here. They help our customers with chargeback cases.
Okay. Yeah. So the chargeback would be communicating with, let's say, Visa, because the card holder said, hey, I wasn't supposed to get charged that or something like that. And these things happen to the best of us. And then you guys have a team that is versed in these chargebacks to go and help your customer to deal with these. Okay.
Yep, exactly. You nailed it. And then the other form, this is the third-party form.
I'm sorry. I'm just going to very quickly point out, and I hate to pick on anybody, but Stripe specifically, which is not a direct competitor of you guys because they do not do stuff for law firms. They are not good for trust accounts or anything like that. But them specifically, they do not have a team that will do that. They will send a letter in, and I've dealt with it. They'll send a letter in that says, here's the information that our client got, but we don't really care how it goes. So just I want to highlight that you guys have a team that is specifically versed in that is there on the side of your client.
Yeah,
I think that is special.
Yeah, definitely. That's something special about LawPay is that we understand the legal market and that these things do happen. So the fact that we have an internal team, we're real people, you can reach us. We're not a bunch of robots. We can help you through this chargeback case, especially because the first time you get a chargeback, it might be scary and not really understanding the landscape or what to do or how to respond. Our team will be there to help coach you through it.
Yeah, great. I think that is a great additional feature, although it's not necessarily a feature.
So we are back at the add new card function within Card Vault. And one thing I want to point out about the vault is that it is PCI compliant. So what that means is the card brands have industry regulations, and there is a payment card industry compliance that all of our customers have to be compliant with to show that they have best practices and are using a secure way to accept payments. LawPay also has to be PCI compliant, and we are. But what's great about it is as soon as you input all of this sensitive card information and it's vaulted, that information is securely kept so that you as the firm can only see the last 4 digits and the expiration date. So you're not going to be able to go into the vault and get that full card information, and that's required for, again, that PCI compliance level.
Now, will this shield the firm from having to show PCI compliance, or this is just a way of being able to almost rubber stamp and say, yes, we are compliant when they get something from the industry, the card, the merchant accounts or whatever to say we are PCI compliant as the firm?
Yeah. So in order for a firm to say, yes, we are PCI compliant, there is a questionnaire that does have to be completed. So it is on a yearly basis. So that is one action that the firm will have to take to show that they're PCI compliant. But in the questions, it does ask about, like, do you use a secure payment processor? This enables them to say, yes, we use LawPay.
Yes. And do you store credit card information on your internal systems? No. We,
all through
yeah.
LawPay.
And we're okay, great. So it just makes it very, very simple for them.
Yes, exactly. I'll go ahead and vault a card. I'm just going to use a different name so we can see the difference between a card I requested, not to get all the Rachels confused. And now you can see that Jane Smith's card is vaulted. So now we have a few cards in the vault. Let me go ahead and show you how to run a charge with that vaulted card. So let's say at this point, the firm has sent an invoice or let the client know that it is time to make a payment. Or let's say Jane Smith wants to replenish their retainer and Jane Smith has a card on file. They can call the firm and say, hey, let's go ahead and add $5,000 to my retainer balance. We'll go ahead and click charge. And what's great is the firm can designate the amount, but also the firm is able to choose which payment account the funds go into.
Okay.
So this law firm, go ahead, sorry.
Operating or trust or even court costs, if that's what it's for. Okay.
Sure. So this firm just has an operating account on file. If a firm also has a trust, you would just see another line item there for the trust account. So in this case, we'll put it just towards the operating. And there is an option for a reference. So if the firm has client numbers or a reference or a matter number, they can input that here.
Okay.
And then we've submitted the charge. And once the transaction is processed, we'll see it in the transactions page. And it can just take up to 5 minutes to be viewed in that transactions page. So here is an example of a card vault charge that happened a couple days ago. The firm is able to see how the payment originated. So in that payment source column, they're able to see card vault as the reason.
Okay.
So here you'll see an example from Sarah client. This is what Jane Smith's payment will look like as soon as it shows in that transactions tab. But what's great is after an initial charge has been run, you're able to click into the transaction and you'll have some more options of things to do with that transaction. For example, let's say Sarah comes back and says, you know what, can I just do $100 every 2 weeks or $100 a month? You are able to create a schedule from this particular charge.
Okay. Now that won't affect that charge. It'll affect future charges.
Correct.
Okay.
Nothing will happen with this current charge, just creating that schedule for any future payments.
Okay. Okay.
And you can see when we move to that new scheduled payment, from that create schedule, it already has the card information on file. So again, that's less work for the firm because it's already in the system, ready to be set up on that scheduled payment.
And it's more convenient for the client too, because they don't have to pull the card out of their wallet or and frankly, in order to be PCI compliant, you don't have to write it down somewhere in order to remember it.
Exactly. It's all securely kept in the LawPay's system. And then you're also able to see a copy of the payment receipt and then resend that receipt if needed.
Okay. And there's Jane Smith's.
Yes. Here it is. We can see the status is authorized. So the bank approved her Visa charge. So we are all set there. And then the next thing I wanted to point out is about our reporting feature
Mm-hmm.
in LawPay. So on the left-hand side, if a firm clicks on reports, they're able to run a transactions report and again, see that information that's in the transactions tab, but
Mm-hmm.
then can be exported to something like Excel.
Okay.
So if I want to see all charges from this month, I can go ahead and run that report. And we'll see the 2 payments from this month, but again, this can be exported into a CSV or XLS, different types of files if the firm needs to use this data for anything.
Okay.
So within LawPay, you are able to access the support center really easily by going to your name in the upper right corner and clicking on support. And if there's an,
Well, so one of the things I wanted to point out, and sorry to interrupt, is that
That's
this
okay.
actually this isn't some sort of this isn't a website that is behind a pay wall or anything like that. They could bookmark this. They could go to this anytime. There, anybody could have this, and anybody on their team could have this and pull this up very easily. That's one of the things I noticed. This is not something that is inside of their account. It's just easy to get to from their account.
Yes, exactly. And let me actually show you how to get to it just from the LawPay homepage if you're not logged in, because
That'd be great.
that's right. You do not have to be logged in to access this. So if we go to LawPay.com, hover over the word support, and then just click on Support Center, it'll take us to the exact same place.
Easy enough. Easy enough.
Yeah. And then, of course, you can use keywords here. Now, if you're the type of person and you want to talk to someone and get that like hands-on experience, feel free to call us. Our phone number is in the upper right-hand corner.
Okay.
We're real people. We will answer and help you with your questions. That's one thing great about us. You don't have to sit through a phone tree or anything to talk to someone.
Fantastic. So, Rachel, one of the things I'd always like to ask with the specific payment processors for law firms is, and I know the answer, but I like to ask, when dealing with trust accounts, when I'm taking a payment and I'm loading information into a trust account, the fees that my firm gets charged for that, those do not come out of my trust account, right?
Correct. We will never debit those processing fees from the trust account. So those will always come out of the operating account, even if the payment goes into the trust account.
Okay. I think that's very important to make sure that we highlight, because it is something that lawyers are very, very thoughtful about, that we obviously, and you guys know this, we can't have that money come out of there. Can't have payments come out of there. So awesome.
Definitely.
Rachel, I really appreciate you doing a deep dive into this for us today.
Of course.
And if so, obviously, people that are already clients, already customers of LawPay, if they need any help, they can go to this support center page. But people that aren't already customers of LawPay, where should they go? They can go to LawPay.com. Can they get free trial and demos and things like that there?
Yeah, definitely. So starting at LawPay.com will be the best place. And then here at the bottom, we've got our sales number. So if you're not a current customer of ours, but you're interested in learning more, you can reach out to our sales team. And then honestly, if you end up at the support team, no worries. We'll get you to the right place. Sounds good.
Sounds good. Well, Rachel, I really appreciate you taking us through this. I imagine it will give people a lot of great information. Thanks for your help today.
Yeah, you're welcome. Thanks for having me.
Absolutely. Absolutely. And we'll see you next time.
Okay, sounds great.